You may have heard the term calories in versus calories out, but what exactly does this mean? I'm going to give you two analogies to give you examples of why energy balance is the second most important pillar of the nutritional priorities pyramid. Understanding calories in versus calories out, or energy balance, will help you eat more of the foods that you enjoy while still achieving your body composition goals, fueling your body, and not starving yourself. I want you to think of taking your car on a road trip. It's about a 500-kilometer journey, but you only put enough fuel in your car to travel 300 kilometers. That means just over halfway into your journey, you run out of fuel, you end up on the side of the road with your hazard lights on. You had a certain distance to travel, but without enough fuel, you didn't make it. This can be compared to what it's like when your body is in a calorie deficit. Your body needs a certain amount of calories to operate each day, and if you don't eat enough calories to match that level, you're going to be in a calorie deficit. That means your body eats either muscle or body fat for fuel to make up for that deficit. If we stick with the car theme for now, let's say you're at the petrol station, your car's fuel tank is going to start to fill up slowly and slowly, then eventually it's going to reach capacity. Imagine that when it reaches that capacity, you don't unclick the nozzle, you just leave it running. Eventually, fuel is going to spill out of the tank and all over the forecourt at the petrol station. This can be what it is like for your body when you're in a calorie surplus. Your body requires a certain amount of fuel to operate each day, but you're eating more calories than what your body needs, and those extra calories will be stored as either body fat or muscle mass. Let's revisit that road trip. You calculate the mileage on your car, that's how much fuel it uses each 100 kilometers, and you calculate the distance of the road trip. You know exactly how much fuel you're going to need for that car to reach your destination. You put in enough fuel and you just get there. There's nothing left over, but you haven't ran out either. We can compare this to being at maintenance for your body. You know how much calories your body needs to operate each day, and you eat exactly that same amount. You don't gain body weight and you don't lose body weight. A calorie deficit is running your fuel tank empty. A calorie surplus is overfilling your fuel tank, and a calorie maintenance is having the exact amount of fuel that you need to operate each day. Maybe the car analogies aren't hitting for you, so I'm going to use something that might be more applicable. You might have a holiday planned and you've given yourself a budget for your holiday. You've saved up for this holiday and you jet off. Everything is going great, but then suddenly you start to spend a lot more than you budgeted for. Your bank account goes into overdraft, or you start having to use your credit card to cover the rest of the expenses on this holiday. This is what it's like when your body goes into a calorie deficit, meaning that you're burning a lot more fuel than the amount of food that you're eating each day. Your body starts to lose body weight, and this can come from either muscle mass or body fat. Now let's say you over budgeted for this holiday. You saved a certain amount of money, you went on this holiday, had a great time, and came back with money left in the bank. You can now put that money into your savings, maybe invest it, or pay off some extra bills. This is what it's like to be in a calorie surplus, meaning that you're eating more food than your body is burning every day. These excess calories will help you gain body weight, and this can be stored as either muscle mass or body fat. Lastly, let's say you budgeted the exact amount that you spent on that holiday. You went away, had a great time, came back and broke even. This is a maintenance phase, meaning that you eat the exact same amount of calories that you burn every day, not gaining body weight, not losing body weight. This is how calories work for your body, because calories are fuel for your body, and we get these calories from eating food. Everybody's calorie requirements will differ depending on your gender, age, body weight, body composition, and daily activity levels. Then we also need to factor in your goal to determine how many calories that you need to eat. Would you like to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, a calorie surplus to gain weight, or would you like to stay at maintenance and keep your body weight the same? It is then important to understand that if you would like to lose body weight and go into a calorie deficit, there's only a certain deficit that you would like to be in. This will help guarantee that you retain muscle during this weight loss phase, and also maintain your performance and don't get extremely lethargic or hangry. An An excessive calorie deficit is when it really starts to impact our performance inside and outside the gym. It's really hard to adhere to and very easy to rebound from, meaning that the weight that you do lose, you're likely to gain back when you start eating excessive calories again from all the cravings that you've been having. Conversely, we can say the same for a calorie surplus. If you're wanting to gain muscle, there's only a certain surplus that you want to be in to try and minimize fat gain. Eating in a calorie surplus doesn't guarantee just muscle gain. Eating in an excessive calorie surplus will mean you're going to gain body fat as well, which is counterproductive. Typically, we can say that eating 300 to 500 calories less than your maintenance, putting you into a calorie deficit, will guarantee the best chance of fat loss while retaining muscle. Again, this can be dependent on your training and your macronutrient split. We can also say that eating in a calorie surplus, depending on your training and macronutrient split, of about 300 to 500 calories will also guarantee you the greatest chance of gaining muscle while minimizing those fat gains. Our maintenance calories can change depending on our age, body weight, body composition, and activity levels. We should try to be as consistent as possible with our activity, but as our body composition changes, we'll have to ensure that we also monitor our maintenance and then adjust our calorie surplus or our calorie deficit to suit our goals. Now that we understand energy balance and calories in and calories out and how it impacts our performance and our body weight, we can then begin to understand how we can use this knowledge to work out our calorie budget and eat foods that we enjoy while still achieving our goals in the gym. It used to be a common myth that you had to only eat clean foods to see positive body composition changes. The laws of thermodynamics, which is calories in versus calories out, have dispelled this myth, which is good news for you because it means you can eat foods that were previously not considered clean and still achieve your goals in the gym. We just have to understand our calorie requirements and what the calories are worth of the foods that we're eating and work within that budget. I recommend the rule of 80% whole foods, 20% soul foods. This means that 80% of the food that you eat should be from whole sources, not manufactured, processed, or coming from a packet. Then 20% of the food or fuel that you get in your body every single day should be whatever you want. No judgment, no questions asked. This will give you the greatest chance of maximizing adherence, which was the #1 pillar of the nutritional priority pyramid. Think of it like a budget. Every single day you're given a certain amount of money to spend, some pocket money, or even your weekly wage. You know what your weekly living expenses and costs are going to be. You make sure that you pay that first out of your wage or your budget. Then the rest of the money you left over that you don't put into your savings is for having fun in the weekends, right? In the real world, we do have to cover the boring stuff first within our weekly budget. Bills, living costs, food, savings, investments, all of that stuff. What's left over, we get to spend and enjoy. And the same will go for your calorie budget. First, let's make sure that we've covered all the basics and the boring stuff. That's where we allocate for the 80% whole foods, making sure we get all the right macronutrients and micronutrients to help our body perform and look its best. The 20% is the fun stuff that we can spend on whatever we want. As a quick example, if you're on a 2,500 calorie per day budget, that means 2,000 of those calories go towards whole foods and 500 calories goes towards whatever you want. If you're on 2,500 calories a day and you can eat 500 calories per day of whatever foods you want without restricting yourself, that's a win for me. We're going to see positive adherence, enjoyment, and as a consequence, we're going to see positive body composition changes. Maybe you're on lower calories, like 1,500. That still means that 20% of 1,500 calories is 300 calories going towards whatever foods you enjoy, 1,200 is going towards the whole foods to optimize your performance and body composition. By understanding this calorie budget, a savvy saver knows how to maximize this budget. If you've only got 1,500 or 2,500 calories to eat each day, you do want to understand how to maximize these calories to improve your adherence. This is where understanding the nutritional content of foods and how to maximize food volume out of plate can come into play, which is similar to understanding your weekly budget. How can we maximize this budget, squeeze every penny, and still live an enjoyable life? If you're on a 2,500 calorie budget and you eat a 2,000 calorie breakfast, that means you've only got 500 calories to spend over the whole day before you start to go over that budget, going into overdraft or having to use your credit card. And you have to be be even savvier on lower calories, such as 1500 calories. How can you make that 1500 calories feel like it's 2500 calories by budgeting wisely? This is part of the reason why we also don't recommend allocating all of your calories towards processed foods, because generally processed foods are higher in fat and carbohydrate, which makes them more calorie dense. Processed foods also aren't the best source of fuel and don't leave you very full or satisfied between meals, making it harder for your adherence. However, if we understand how to budget our calories wisely, we can still achieve our goals, eat soul foods after we prioritize our whole foods. Now that we understand energy balance, we don't have an excuse to remove entire food groups or foods that we enjoy from our daily nutrition. We could also understand why maybe we haven't achieved our goals in the past because we thought we were in a calorie deficit or surplus, but maybe we miscalculated, or maybe we weren't as consistent, or it didn't adhere to it as much as we thought. We now have no reason to only eat clean or excessively restrict ourselves. We can work within a calorie budget to see results and optimize our performance in a sustainable and healthy way.